We speak for the trees have no tongues. I am Nick Newman.
I'm Luke Graham.
And I'm Adela Holguin.
Alright, well here we are. It's, believe it or not, almost November. It's already October 20th, which is pretty fucked up. I kinda can't believe that.
Yeah.
How you guys doing? How's y'all semesters going?
Pretty good.
Yeah? How's it going over in the great north up there in Wisconsin, Adela?
It's pretty cold up here. Semester's going well, I would say.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you had any midterms yet?
Oh, I have a shit ton of midterms. I actually have 3 papers to write this weekend.
Oh, hey, me too. I got 3 papers also.
Nice.
I got 2.
Wow.
I was telling Nick earlier that I paid Eric $10 and a Hershey's cookies and cream bar to write one of my papers for me.
Oh my god. That's going on the air.
Yeah.
She doesn't give a shit. Oh my god. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like papers for me aren't like that bad. I don't know. I kind of like actually enjoy doing the research for some of that kind of shit. Like I'm doing this one paper, which is actually really cool. It's a research paper that I had to do on basically some kind of human-caused environmental issue that's affecting a specifically, not necessarily isolated, but a specifically designated demographic or group of people. And so I'm doing, a lot of people don't know about this, but there was this huge fucking breach at an aquaculture pen in Washington that released over 300,000 fucking Atlantic farmed salmon into like all the watershed areas and all the rivers in like basically the whole Pacific Northwest. And people are like, it's like really tearing down everyone's ability to fish like the native salmon, like the Pacific salmon and the sockeye salmon and the Chinook salmon. And it's pretty cool because for the research paper, the group of people that I'm looking at is the Lummi Nation. They live on the Puget Sound up in Washington, and it's crazy because within like the first 3 days of the breach, they called basically they called for a state of emergency for the whole Lummi Nation, and basically like they've been catching like hundreds of thousands of pounds of salmon like a day for like the whole week after that breach happened. Oh my god, it's so crazy. Like, and the salmon habitats in like Washington and Oregon are already like totally destroyed because they have all these they have like culverts, which are like those pipes that they put underneath roads when there's like a river that goes under a road or like a little creek, you know, they have like that pipe, and the salmon can't like jump the gap into the pipe, so it's cutting off. It's like isolating all these different sections of river where like the salmon can't migrate and shit. It's really fucked up, man.
It is really fucked up.
Yeah.
I know, like, I haven't done much research about it. I probably should. But I heard that they're trying to make another pipeline going through, like, indigenous land. It's, like, going through Minnesota and Wisconsin.
Mm.
I guess those, like, northern Wisconsin tribes are obviously, like, pretty upset about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody should be upset, man.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it
yeah.
shouldn't just be them. It should be everyone.
It's really weird how, like, we don't realize the amount of pipelines that are already, like, all across the fucking country, and all of them leak at some point. Like, they all have and will continue to. And, like, I feel like indigenous groups are, like, the only people that are really being that organized in terms of being vocal about it. It's really weird. Like, why the fuck? There's plenty of white people or, you know, black people or brown people or whoever that own land, I'm sure, that is being impacted by these fucking spills, but nobody's really talking about it, man.
Yeah. I can't remember if I told you this or not when I got back from my trip, but one of the staff members that worked for the place I volunteered at, she, like, her family has been, like, in activism since, like, the 60s, and her mom, she's like an older lady, and so her mom was actually like one of the first people at Standing Rock, and I think her mom was there for like 2 months, and then she told the lady Marcel like, hey, like you need to get down here, like we need help like organizing all of this stuff, and then she stayed down there for like pretty much the whole entire thing
Wow,
until it was over.
that's a long time. People were out in the fucking cold, and I mean
Yeah.
like really like Great Plains cold is fucking cold, man.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. Yeah. I wanted to at some point. I was told that there was opportunities to like drive supplies like to Standing Rock, and I wanted to do that, but just I had to work over winter break. Couldn't really take like the week off to drive out that far.
Have you watched Awake yet on
I
Netflix?
I have not
Mm.
watched The Wake yet.
Mm-mm.
I really should.
What's it about?
It's about it's about No Dapple.
Mm.
But like I don't know. I think the people who directed it were like all native, so it was from their perspective, which is really cool because I feel like you don't really get that a lot, especially with like the way it was being portrayed in the news. It was
Mhm.
just a bunch like the only way you could really hear about the pipeline was on the news or through articles online that weren't written by actual native people or people that were actually there.
Right. Yeah, and then
So
you
that
have
kind of gave everyone almost like a very skewed, at least like people that pay attention to popular media, like a very skewed version of what
Mhm.
was actually going on there.
yeah. Well, and then you also have like the only other reason a lot of people were paying attention is because of fucking like celebrities going
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah, that is also very true. Just the way they were treated there is just so completely fucked up. And you see it in the documentary how
Yeah.
fucked up it was.
People getting blasted by fire hoses and shit. Well, I mean, militarization of the police is a real thing. I mean, regardless of what ethnicity you are, you know. And I'm not saying that there isn't some reason for.
Doing so.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
police should be protected because there
Yeah.
are. I mean, like the problem with like gun legislation. Because I mean, I totally like support background checks. I
Mhm.
support like especially mental background checks, like to make sure that there's not a history of mental illness in the family or something. Um, but I mean, even with gun legislation, like there's already so many fucking guns that are out there. It's crazy. Like there's like it's some insane ratio to like the amount of people to the amount of guns that there are in this country. It's like, I mean, with the South, I guess especially. Nothing against the South. I mean, I love the South, but you know, people like their guns, man, and unfortunately, police, they get more guns as a result of that as well. And like the new cars and shit every year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gotta have those new cars.
It's honestly really weird when you see one of the old crappy cop cars. It wigs me out sometimes.
Wisconsin's got a lot of those, doesn't it?
Um, their state troopers do, but around here, at least in Point, they all drive SUVs.
Oh,
They don't
really?
even drive cars. They're
Oh,
they're all in SUVs.
That's when you know they mean business, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicago has a good amount of those old cop cars.
Yeah.
But they're not that incredibly old.
No, I don't really know a whole lot about the Chicago Police Force's ethic, or the CPD.
Yeah.
I know, like, a lot of big cities have real bad problems with
Mhm.
police brutality. I don't know how that is for Chicago, really.
That'd be a good thing to check out.
Yeah. Well, it's weird, though, because I know, like, I mean, obviously this is a pretty narrow perspective, but, like, I feel like when I've ever gone to, like, concerts and stuff in Chicago, I mean, even, like, the Fairly Well shows, there's, like, 130,000 people that showed up, and it just mobbed the whole Field area,
Mhm.
But the police were very, like, for the most part, they seemed very accommodating, honestly.
I mean, it's different in those big events compared to the day-to-day living stuff.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah, I guess that's true.
in, like, huge, like, drug traffic neighborhoods in Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird how, like compartmentalized, like, power structures are in big cities like
Especially
that.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago is heavily, like, just diversified by
Yeah.
the streets and everything.
It's you could go down one street and you'd be totally fine. You go past another street and you need to get the fuck out of
Completely
there.
different.
Yeah, that is very true.
Yeah. How does that happen though? I mean, I guess. Yeah, I don't really know, man. The
You
whole.
like barely even notice it too when it happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I went to school at Columbia, I had to take the red line to Chinatown, and I just got so fucking lost because I had to go to some elementary school that was over there, and I just like it was really this like nice development was being built, and it was like a cute little neighborhood, and I literally turned the corner, and it was like, oh gosh, I probably shouldn't be walking over here by myself right now. I'm gonna turn this corner again.
Yeah, when I went to this like street little music fest in Chicago back in July, and I was there with like 4 of my friends from out in DeKalb, and we took the train to Ogilvy, and we got off, and none of us really quite knew where to go, and they all had their phones, right? But even with their smartphones, a lot of them had like no battery left, so they didn't really want to use them. And then, we decided, oh, I'm sure we'll find the way, And my friend's like, oh, this way looks like east. So we're like, all right, fuck it. So we start going, and we walked for probably about 45 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And we're looking around, and we noticed that all of a sudden there's boarded up windows, there's like scaffolding on the outsides of buildings just sitting there, there's like just empty lots like every other building or so, really shitty road conditions, like a lot of like really weird like big metal bridges going over intersections and stuff, and it just happened like instantly, and we're like, oh man, I think we went exactly the wrong way. Yeah, this is not where we should be right now. And we walked so far and we didn't really know where to go from there, so we had to call Uber, and this Uber driver picks us up, and she's like where were you guys trying to go? We're just like, oh, we were trying to go to I think it was Lincoln Avenue. We're like, oh, we're trying to go to Lincoln Avenue. She's like, well, first of all, you guys have been walking in the wrong direction, like exactly the wrong way. We're like, oh fuck. So we're like, how long would it have taken us to get there from where you picked us up? Because we were thinking about maybe just walking and saving the money. And she's like, oh man, with all the traffic and the intersections you have to cross, probably like 3 hours. And we were like, oh fuck. Oh my god. But it was a great show. It was a great show. Turquoise was there. Saw Turquoise and the Motet and fucking Aqueous and Munyon for $10. But that is weird though. Gentrification of neighborhoods. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys watch Shameless?
I have watched
Bits and
Shameless.
pieces.
I've heard it's really good though.
It is really good. In the last, I think it's the last season, or wait, I think season 8's coming out now, so I think it might be season 6. Like you start to see gentrification happen in the show, because they live in like the south side of Chicago.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it's like a pretty. I know it's won quite a few awards. Is it a Netflix original or is it on TV?
It's a Showtime.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah,
And then,
they know what they're doing.
but the episodes go pretty fast onto Netflix. So I don't know if they have a deal or something.
I'm still waiting for the last 2 seasons of Always Sunny to show up on Netflix. Been waiting for like 2 years, man. Crazy. I don't know what's going on. They're just leaving us high and dry.
Yeah. You know what, like, subscription, I guess, TV show company sucks? Hulu. I love and I hate Hulu all at the same time.
That's how I feel too.
Why? What do you mean?
Well, I don't pay for Hulu because I use George's, and then George uses my Netflix account.
Right.
So, like, that's why I probably don't hate it as much. But, like, I like it because they add on, like, so if you are watching, like, I watch This Is Us, and so it's on every Tuesday, and then it's on Hulu the next day. So you
Yeah.
can watch it, but at like sometimes like they barely have like any really good shows on there. They're really good at updating South Park, but recently they haven't been putting like any of their episodes up.
Who?
Hulu,
Oh. Actually, I just watched South Park yesterday.
the new one,
Yeah.
I haven't checked.
It was probably put up yesterday then.
Yeah.
But the thing I don't like about Hulu is that you have to pay to not watch ads, too.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that
The
too.
basic service and then that's just stupid.
Well, yeah, I mean, 'cause,
It makes sense, like, from an economical point, but, you know.
I mean, yeah, but you're basically, you already have to pay for it.
Yeah. It should be
Right.
free if you're going to have to
Right,
watch
exactly.
ads.
You already have to pay for it, and then you pay more to go ad-free, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's bullshit. But I mean, you know, you got to get people
You
for every
gotta do
penny
what
you
you
can.
gotta do.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe
Capitalism,
we shouldn't
baby.
watch so much TV.
Huh?
I said, or maybe we shouldn't watch so much TV.
That's
Yeah.
a good point.
No, that's definitely true. I mean, honestly, I've tried to really like move away from watching TV. I watch like 2 shows now, really. I mean, I use Netflix sometimes, but
What shows?
Mr. Robot,
Mm.
which if either of you have not watched it yet, it's fucking incredible. It's a really good show. The writing is really awesome. Honestly, up there with Breaking Bad. I got
No way.
yeah, I got my buddy J6 to start watching it, and I was like, dude, it's up there with Breaking Bad, and he loves Breaking Bad, man. And he's in the Marines. He's out in Hawaii, but I was texting back and forth with him over the week, and he's like, dude, you were right, man. I watched all of Mr. Robot in like 2 weeks, and it was incredible. Ah, it's really good, man. It's
What
essentially
is that on?
it's on USA.
Yes.
Okay.
It's essentially like it's about hacking to a certain degree. Like that's like the base premise for the show is like about hackers and the way that they influence like the global economy and
Mhm.
political structures and all that shit.
Interesting.
But it's also like just kind of a backdrop for this really like just interesting, crazy, suspenseful story, man. It's really good. And then the other one, honestly, is just Conan.
Mm.
Big fan of the big white guy.
Nope. Rick and Morty's the best show on television.
Rick and Morty.
By far.
By far.
By far.
Wow.
Like, better than Breaking Bad, better than Game of Thrones. But,
Dude, Game of Thrones is pretty fucking good.
Game of Thrones is amazing. Like, for me personally, I'd watch Rick and Morty all day, every day. You know?
Really.
But, then, Game of Thrones is really more entertaining and easier to watch with other people and talk about with other people. You get way more immersed in Game of Thrones.
What do you mean our people?
Other people.
Oh, other people.
Yeah.
Oh, they said our people.
Who's our people?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was like,
Hippies? Are we hip? Do we relate to being hippies?
No, I mean I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't call myself a hippie because, I mean, I feel like they were kind of a historical phenomenon.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously, like, I guess that's kind of a, I don't know, because there's also like the label like new age,
Yeah.
new age or like hipster
I feel
shit.
like New Age is a lot dirtier.
I don't,
than
or wook.
Yeah.
There's wooks, you know.
What's a wook?
I love
you don't,
woods.
you don't know what a wook is?
No.
Oh my god, hold on.
If
Like,
I
I know
could be a
a picture.
wook, I would totally be a wook.
Is it like a
I need you to
lumbersexual?
find a funny wook picture. I know you know them.
Is it like a lumbersexual?
No, I don't even know what that is.
It's people that look like lumberjacks.
Oh. No.
I just been.
What?
Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, this is on Urban Dictionary. The top definition for a wook is noun or adjective: a dirty, hairy, stinky, malnourished, dishonest creature that often travels in packs. Honestly and unfortunately, multicolored dogs and handmade, all-natural, organic hemp leashes are alone wandering aimlessly around a concert, usually hippie music with quotation marks. With a few seemingly more important than the music goals. find as many mind-altering substances and cram them into their bodies as fast and furiously as possible to get into the show somehow. Don't lose the dog this time, but if by chance they come across unintended property such as a cooler, chair, backpack, or beverage, it will then become their own. So,
no, it's funny.
A great description.
No, that's a very apt description. It's funny that last part specifically because when Alexander and Kevin Mink and I, when we were at our first summer camp music fest back in 2012, at one point we'd gone to go see, probably like 3 or 4 shows. We were gone for a pretty long while, probably like 5 hours from our campsite, and this is the first summer camp we'd been to, and we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. So we set up our tent in like this little fucking nook underneath like a tree. It was very unpleasant to be there in general, but there was like a little spot that we could have put up our like our chairs, right outside the tent. But the spot was like along the path, like one of the main walking paths through the woods. It was like the main walking path right by the moonshine stage. You know what I'm talking about? The one that goes to the forest, Adela?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was right there pretty much. It was like off the path, And, I mean, we figured most people are honest, quote-unquote hippies, and they're probably not going to really fuck with our shit, so we didn't worry about the chairs being there. And we came back from this string of shows, and there's this fucking wook that's totally passed the fuck out on one of the chairs. And we're like, okay, well, we want to sit down. We've been walking for like 5 hours, or dancing, or, doing whatever, and we better, get this guy out of this chair. So we're shaking him, nothing. Alexander kind of slaps him in the face a little bit, nothing. We're like, what the fuck? So we take our water bottle and we pour it on his head, and he looks up at us, and he must have been on, he was probably on like ketamine or something like that, because he was out of it, man. When he woke up, he was barely speaking English, and he looks at us and he goes like, what? And we're like, dude, you're in our chair, man. And he got up, and he like turned around and he looked at us as he was about to walk away. He like looked at us, and he's just like, "This isn't over." And then he walked away.
This isn't over.
Yeah, but he never came back. He was probably too fucked up. But he definitely thought that chair was his. That's definitely.
I earned that chair.
Yeah, exactly. He was in that chair for many ketamine hours.
At the last summer camp I went to, we were like, it was probably maybe like around 5, so like after seeing like a hearty amount of shows, we were just relaxing before like the night show started. And this like, it was like a group of 3 people walked by, and they're like, just like, they said hi to us, and they're like, oh man, that cereal looks good, can I have some? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. So I gave them a handful of cereal, and then they proceeded to sit down at our campsite. And then, like, they were just talking and stuff, and then they, like, were like, oh, it's, like, what's inside of here? We're like, oh, like, it's just a bunch of, like, food for, like, while we're camping. And they open it up, look inside of it, and they were just, like, just super Wookiee-ass people. And then they're like, oh, man, can I have this cereal?
Wow.
There's a box of cereal in there, and they're like, can we have the cereal?
Yeah, it's
they're
just,
like,
they're...
Oh, you can't have that cereal, I'm sorry. And then they ended up leaving. And then later on that night, all of our... they stole our fucking stool. We had this little stool, and inside the stool had all of our bags to our chairs in it.
Oh, man.
And I also had, like, a blanket on top of there. They took our blanket and our stool with all of our chair bags. And that was the last night at Scamp, so we had to carry all of the chairs back.
Wow. Man, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just can't trust some looks, man. I'm telling you. I will say this, though. I just pulled up the definition of hippie in comparison to wook, okay? So it says a hippie is a person who was raised under the ideological system that came out of the tumultuous 1960s in North America and Western Europe. They are either of the flower child baby boomer generation or that generation's subsequent offspring. They possess a core belief set revolving around the values of peace and love as being essential in an increasingly globalized society, and they are oftentimes associated with nonviolent anti-governmental groups. there is a stigma of drug abuse attached to the hippies that is prevalent to this day, specifically the use and abuse of marijuana and hallucinogens. Many rock movements, poets, artists, writers from the 60s today have associated with this movement, most prominently the Grateful Dead, Bob Dylan, Janis Joplin, and Fish. And then, it goes on from there. But, so, yeah, I would say hippies, I don't know. I mean, I don't really like to define myself as anything, because I feel like I'm just a person, a human, I'm just this albino-looking monkey walking around.
I'm definitely not reptilian.
No, as far as we can tell, right? I mean, I don't think women lay eggs,
No.
No. They produce eggs, but they don't lay eggs.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, if I had to say I'm anything, though, I'd say I'm a deadhead.
Oh, yeah. Well, you are.
Yeah, no, I am, yeah.
I mean, look right in your room.
Yeah, I know. Grateful Dead. Well, Grateful Dead, Grateful Dead, Grateful Dead, Grateful Dead, Grateful Dead,
Bob
Dylan, Grateful Dead, Beatles, Bob Dylan.
We have so much Grateful Dead shit in our house. When people come over, they're like, "Oh yeah, I could tell you like the Grateful Dead."
You're like, really? We thought it was very subtle.
I think it's kind of subtle.
You got tapestries up anywhere? Oh, dude, I'm so excited to come see you guys. I'm really pumped for this.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to come up too.
Hell yeah.
It'll be fun.
The last time was a blast. Giggling while
we can see if we can find your fat titty girl again.
Yeah, maybe.
And I don't mean fat with an.
Is there a story behind this?
Well, okay.
I want to hear the story.
I was a little bit, actually kind of drunk for that story. So, do you remember more clearly, perhaps, than I do? I remember ordering a lot of food at Taco Bell.
I was the only one that didn't drink that night. All right. So it was actually kind of around this time last year, Nick came up to visit us, and so there was like a show going on at our school that we were going to go to. Oh, it was Old Shoe. That's who it was. So, like, my boyfriend and I, we lived in the dorms last year, which was like an awful experience, and we didn't ever smoke inside the dorm room, but we always like kept our stash in there, and so we went to go smoke. And then we went to the show, and then we came back, and we're just, like, hanging out, and we're getting ready to go to a party, and Nick went to the bathroom, and there was a knock at the door, and so my friend Travis was in my dorm room, and we thought it was Nick, so as he opens the door, he's like, "Hey, bitch." And then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh," and it's my, like, the person in charge of my dorm room floor, an RA, is my RA, and then another RA, and they're like, "Hey, like, it's kind of loud in here," because one of the RAs ended up being Travis's friend.
Yeah.
And then my boyfriend was in the room, and he's like, "Oh, we were playing our instruments later on." My boyfriend's just, like, already drunk, and he's high. He's just gone at this point. And he's like, "We were playing our instruments in here. Like, I'm really sorry about that." And the guy's like, "No, I mean, it's loud in here." Like, talking about smelling like pot. And he's like, "Apparently, it's loud in here a lot. This is just a warning. Just to let you guys know, you're not going to get in trouble this time. But I don't want it to happen again." And so we're like, "Okay, great." And they, like, go away. We shut the door. And then literally, like, seconds later, Nick walks in the door. And it's just like, "What's going on?" But that was just the start of our night. And so, like, we go to this party. Everyone's just getting, like, more fucked up. And then as we're walking back, this, like, freshman girl is just kind of like stumbling, like she can't even walk or really talk, and she was just lost as shit, and she's like, "Hey guys, I'm really lost. I've been wandering around here for like hours. I was at a party, and the guys I was with, they have my phone and my wallet, and I don't know how to get back to my dorm room." And so we're like, "Oh, like, we'll show you how to get back." And then on the way to on the way to the dorm, we stopped at Taco Bell. And we got a bunch of food, and then we dropped Oh, and as we were at Taco Bell, that girl ended up finding the douchebags that left her
Yeah.
party, and so she like went with them, and then right after she left, Nick was just like, "Man, that girl had some nice titties."
She
She
did,
had
dude.
some big old titties.
She had
And
nice titties. I'm usually an ass man, but she had nice titties. I have to say it.
then literally the whole walk back, Nick was just like, "That girl had some nice titties."
Just the whole, yeah.
The whole walk.
Every 5 paces, that girl
Yeah.
had nice
I was in a loop.
And Eric's like, I mean, they're big, but I wouldn't say they were nice. Eric and I were actually talking about that a few days ago, about
really?
that girl's titties. Because I'm still friends with her on Snapchat.
I guess it comes up often.
Oh god, that's funny.
That's nice.
That was a long time ago already, man. That was already yeah, that was like a year ago, man.
I would say that was a year ago already.
Yeah. Fucking crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. This year flew by.
Yeah. Yeah, it really has. There was actually there's a Terence McKenna like not necessarily theory, but he had this idea called the concrescence, which was like this point in it's like essentially this theory that there's a indentation in both time and space that are causing acceleration in like universal processes. Like we think, it's essentially like dark matter. Like we know now that dark matter is all around us, and it's causing, as opposed to gravity pulling galaxies back in toward the center of the universe, it's causing them to accelerate outwards ever faster, right? Well, his idea was that this is also happening for space, but it's happening for time as well. And he was saying that the way that we experience our lives, because of the way that we're impacted by natural processes, right, that when we're experiencing the phenomenon of time, how we perceive it, basically, because there's this concrescence, we're actually being pulled like forward in time as opposed to like kind of coasting along. We're actually, time feels like it's going faster throughout your life because it actually is, and that basically, in terms of the way that you perceive time passing, I believe he said the first 7 years of your life feel as long as everything after that. The way you perceive time, you're like middle-aged in terms of your ability to comprehend it in a certain like decompressed way at like age like 14, and then like it's crazy, man. Because if you think about it, like I remember when I was like in like first or second grade, summer felt like so
years.
long, like so unbelievably long,
Yeah.
and now I feel like a year doesn't even feel like as long as that. It's just an interesting theory. Oh god, he's such an interesting guy.
Who said that?
Terence McKenna. It's called the concrescence.
Oh man, hey Nick, I really wanted to tell you this story that Sunny told us in my social services class. Because we're going over the whole like boarding school period.
Yeah.
And Sunny went to a boarding school when he was young. Actually, like pretty much until high school, he went to a boarding school. But this one wasn't like a stay there for like the whole school year. It was like just a day school.
Yeah.
And so when he was in first grade, he got sent to the boarding school, and it was the same school that his mom went to. And when he was in class, he asked like the kid next to him, because it was a mixed room of first and second grade, and he didn't know how to speak English yet because all he spoke and knew was ho chunk. And so he asked like a kid in his like his normal language for a pencil, and the kid's like, "Shh, be quiet! Like you can't talk like that here." And he's like, "What? Like what do you mean we can't talk like that here?" And he kept telling Sunny to be quiet, and the nun/teacher heard him talking, and she grabbed him by the ear and like pulled him up and was screaming at him like you don't like disrupt my class. You're not going to disrupt my class. And she grabbed him by both of his ears and then started slamming his head against the chalkboard in front of the whole entire class. And he's like, this is my first day of school. Like, I don't even know what this lady's really saying. And then she slammed my head against the wall. It's like, so I fought her back. And every time I fought her back, she would, like, grab my ears harder and slam my head, like, against the chalkboard harder.
Oh.
And she's like, do you understand me? Do you understand me? And she, like, turned him around, and she slapped him so hard in the face that she left a handprint on his cheek. And so when he came home and his mom, like, came into the house, his mom's like, oh, like, what happened at school? And he told his mom what happened. She's like, yeah, like, she had that same nun as a teacher. She's like, you can't disrupt your class like that. You have to learn to listen to your teacher. But his dad never went to boarding school, and he didn't really kind of like the idea of it.
Yeah.
And so his mom told him, like, hey, when your dad comes, like, don't let him see your face, okay? And so he was outside, and he heard his dad's truck pull up, so he tried to hide behind a tree.
Yeah.
And his dad saw that he was trying to hide from him. He went over there, and his sonny's trying to hide his cheek, and he saw the mark on his face, and he knew, like, right away it was from the teacher, because they didn't, like, hit their kids at all.
Right.
And so he grabbed Sonny, threw him in the truck, and they drove down to the school. And his dad, like, walked into the teacher's room and was like, don't you ever touch my son like that again. And the teacher started yelling back at him. And I guess his dad was a boxer, so he was kind of like a scary dude.
Yeah.
And he, like, as they were arguing, he ended up, like, cornering her into the chalkboard where he just was. And so he's like, I was standing there like, yeah, give it to her, Dad. And she was, like, making him so mad because she just kept arguing, and she, like, didn't see, like, that it was wrong to smack a fucking first grader in the face.
Yeah.
And so he, like, lifted his hand up and was about to slap her, and he's just like, I'm not going to hit you, but don't ever touch my kid like that again. And so I guess after that, the teacher obviously didn't like him, and she used to make him piss his pants in class. Like, if he had to go to the bathroom, she would have let him go.
Wow.
So he would, like, shit and piss himself in class for, like, 2 years.
Such good religious values.
Wow. You know, I just don't understand how a person can be that cold towards another human being.
Yeah, no.
Like, regardless of what they look like,
right,
or how they think, or how they talk, that's still another human being. I mean, like...
Or even the fact that he was just a first grader.
Right. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
You're a grown-ass lady.
Probably not even, like, 3 feet tall yet.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. See, and it's weird, too, because it's not like all religious, like, teachers are like that. Like, for instance, my mom, she went to a Catholic school, and, she said that, it wasn't the most fun experience in the world, but one of her nuns that was a teacher was Bill Murray's sister.
Really?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and supposedly she's pretty cool, apparently. Also, just so you know, your mic's making a lot of noise, Adela.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, what's up with that? God. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like anyone who is, like, completely, just 100% into an ideology, I feel like...
Like, complete denial of anything else
yeah,
because of that ideology.
I feel like it's easier for someone who has that mindset to justify doing things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not religious, though, so I don't really know.
Yeah.
It's like the clay lady.
The clay lady?
Have you ever seen that video?
No.
I'll try to see if I can find the link and send it to you. But it's just like, this lady is a nut. She is at a table, and she's like, today I'm going to teach you about fossils. and she gets out this like plaster, and she shows it to you, and then she like breaks it up into little pieces, and then she picks up like one of the pieces, and she's like, "This is a fossil, and this is what people tell you like." This is what archaeologists find and think it's a dinosaur bone, when really it's just a piece of rock.
Oh my
Dinosaurs
God.
don't exist.
Did you know that there's a creationist museum in like Missouri?
Really?
What?
Yeah, hold on.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Of course
They
in
have
Missouri.
yeah, here it is. Okay, Creationist Museum. Yeah. Okay, so basically they're oh my God. Right here on the front page of their website it says prepare to believe.
Oh, gosh.
All right, so
I
basically yeah, the state-of-the-art Creation Museum allows you to venture through biblical history, stunning exhibits, botanical centers, planetarium, petting zoo, zipline adventure course. But literally, they're teaching that the Earth is 6,000 to 10,000 years old in a museum. Like as science, they're teaching this. They have an exhibit for the Garden of Eden.
Nice.
They have dinosaurs and dragons on exhibit. And they have fucking... I was reading about this one time. They have exhibits of humans riding dinosaurs. Because
Really?
they, of course, existed at the same time. I mean...
Well, I mean, definitely was 6,000 years ago. That's totally probable.
God, 6,000 years, man. There's almost trees that are that old.
Yeah. It's just like that can't be that can't be an opinion, you know. Like we can carbon date things, you know.
Yeah, but then the problem is with carbon
What makes
with
that
carbon
true?
dating, right? They say, well then, but that's only by like a yardstick or a measuring stick that you've created
Yeah.
to measure things by. So then that's biased as well, you know. Yeah.
It's definitely.
Well, it's just weird because we're at this weird point in history where we don't even know what the fuck is real anymore.
Yeah.
Like, postmodernism is essentially that. Like, we've run out of new ideas, so now we just recycle old ideas, and the things that we simulate things with are becoming as real as, like, real life. We're starting to, like, not be able to distinguish anymore. I was actually...
Well, there's so much like confirmation bias. If you want to think something's true, you can find someone like a whole group of people
That
who also think that's true.
Yeah.
So you can just
Yeah.
be blind to anything else for that the rest of your life. You know.
The video I just sent you, it's called Dinosaur Hoax Fossils,
Oh, yes, I see
and
this.
their
Yeah.
YouTube channel is Christians Against Dinosaurs.
Oh, I've
Wow.
seen that before. Yeah.
Their logo is a dinosaur with like
Across
the like
it.
no sign through it.
Oh, yeah, I see that right there. It's a T-Rex with the Ghostbusters no sign going
Yeah.
through. Wow.
Have you Have you seen the Facebook page Pokemon Christians Against Pokemon Go or something like that?
No.
What?
It's fucking great.
That's
I think
awesome.
it's totally like a phony, like just for fun page, but it's hilarious.
Huh. Well, you know, I mean, free speech, you know.
Yeah.
Comes in all flavors, man.
Yeah.
Huh.
If you want to waste your money on plaster, go ahead.
This woman just looks like kind of off anyway. She looks like she's got some problems.
Don't we all have problems?
No, that's definitely true. But I mean, sorry, I just paused this video at a point. She looks insane in this.
Yeah, like
Wow.
Carrie from
I
Carrie.
just love when she like
Hey,
smashes up all the plaster. She's like, see this? This is a fossil. This is a dinosaur bone.
Okay, here we go. I think she's gonna do it now. Oh no, she's got a cup full of plaster. Wow.
I said what it was before I was like,
Wow. I have a hard time believing that this is a serious channel. I feel like this is almost comedy.
Maybe. Let's see how many other videos
I'll
we
look
got.
up. I'll see what other videos they have.
Yeah. Huh.
Donald Trump is a
Yeah,
dinosaur.
okay.
Yeah. Look at this. No more sexy. I feel like this is Yeah, I feel like this is a comedy.
Oh, this one says this is fiction.
Yeah.
But that's just for the Donald Trump one.
That's good.
Which
That's
he is
good.
pretty old, though.
Well, Conan always makes the jokes that Larry King has been around since the dinosaurs and this thing. Oh man, they have an adaptation of the "All My Friends Are Dead" story called
I just
"All
saw
My
that.
Friends Are Lies." Yeah.
How to protect children from dinosaur corruption.
Oh my god, that's so insane. Well,
That's great.
You know what's weird though is that like dinosaurs, it's not like our civilization's discovery of their fossils is the first time that we've come in contact with dinosaur remains to some extent, because I forget where in Mexico. I'll look it up, but in Mexico they found these. I don't know if you want to call them artifacts, but they were essentially toys that were found, or scale models maybe would be better. There was these toys that were found, like buried, in Mexico, and the carbon dating on the toys themselves, like the area that they were contained in, it basically dated to further back than written history. So before, I guess, what would that be, like 6,500 years ago?
Yeah.
They dated back further than that. They dated back earlier than agriculture, actually, if I'm not mistaken. I think they were like around 11,000 years old that they dated back to. And there are these toys that very, like you can easily tell that they were dinosaurs. Like there was one that looked kind of like a Stegosaurus. There was ones that kind of looked like, go to Google instead of DuckDuckGo. But the fact that at some point people outside of modern civilization knew what, yeah, that's the one that, okay, so they're called the Acambaro figures. They're about 33,000 small ceramic figurines found in 1994. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so the dating. Okay, so
2,500 BC.
Oh yeah, they do look like little toys.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's
it's
not
not quite as
you
old,
thought,
but within
That's
Mesoamerica, that's
Yeah.
still earlier, at least as far as we think, than people should have been able to know what dinosaurs are. But I wonder
Yeah,
then.
look, there's someone riding a Stegosaurus.
So weird,
Maybe
man.
they had a shrink ray. No, I'm just
they just
The
shrunk
alien
down.
escaped
With
from
the
That's
Shrink
where all the
ray.
dinosaurs went.
Yeah. Well, it's just weird,
Yeah.
like, because there have been they found I keep saying scale models, but they found little models of airplanes in
the
pyramids.
pyramids.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, there was a new chamber that was just discovered recently.
Wait, recently too.
Yeah, like within the last 5 years. They
Yeah.
found all these little models of what looked very much like airplanes, not like birds, but airplanes, man. There's some. I think with how much knowledge has been destroyed, I think we know. Yeah, I think we vastly underestimate how much we've known as humans throughout our own history.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Plus, as humans, we want to be remembered throughout all of time.
Right.
So there's definitely going to be a lot more stuff that we'll discover, just as we populate the Earth even more.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, the anatomically modern human, like the kind of human that you could have a child with,
Yeah.
dates back somewhere around 196,000 years. That's a fucking long-ass time. That's with the same brain size. You can't tell me that at some point in 196,000 years we never had, more knowledge than, what we think of as hunter-gatherers.
Yeah.
That just seems ludicrous to me, man. I don't know.
And then all of a sudden, past 100 years, wow.
Yeah.
Just sudden increase in everything.
Well, I mean, they date
Astronomical.
agriculture. They date agriculture to 10,000 years ago, but
How did they? I'm actually curious. Do you know how they dated back there?
I-
What they say as proof is that?
I think roughly it's because that's around the time that we find evidence of people gathered in locations to such a population density that it wouldn't have been sustainable without some form of agriculture. Like you find the beginnings of small towns, you find evidence of tilled fields, stuff like that dates back to around that time. Tools, stuff like that, you know. But again, I mean, who knows, man? That's why I love Graham Hancock so much, because he, you know, he's not presenting science necessarily, but he's just saying, like, you know, you should think about the possibility that there may have been, you know, either fairly sophisticated or very sophisticated civilizations in that huge time span, you know. Have you ever watched any of those Joe Rogan Experiences, Adela, with Graham Hancock on?
I don't think so.
You definitely should.
I also don't really pay attention to the person, like, who he has on there, I guess. Like, I don't really know who they are.
Yeah. It's more just the stuff they're talking about. I gotcha.
Yeah.
I gotcha. All right. Well, we are now over an hour in, which I actually can't believe.
I know.
Is that for the whole conversation?
I believe this is from when I said the intro.
Okay.
Yes. So, not bad.
Yeah.
I don't know about whoever actually decides to listen to us. But I thought, yes, exactly, yeah. Thank you, whoever actually decides to listen, if anybody.
This far in, too.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Hopefully we haven't been really fucking boring. I don't really know.
Thank you for listening to our annoying voices.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm probably going to listen to some of this later today, and I'm probably just going to be like, oh man, this sounds terrible, but...
But it definitely seems like it was a good first run.
Yeah, I'd say so. Well... I mean, I don't know about you guys. I'd say this was a fairly, successful first episode, if we'd like to call it quits here. I don't know how long we want to go before people get bored, so an hour's probably not bad.
Yeah, I think an hour is good.
Yeah, for now at least, yeah. All right, well, to anyone at all who made it the whole way through, you guys are troopers. We'll keep trying to keep you guys interested as it goes on. You know, yeah. Do you guys have anything you want to say?
No, you said it all.
Have a great day.
Have a great day. Have a great day, buddy. Oh, that's gonna get me in trouble. All right, and with that, we say goodbye.